Boys will be boys. What's the big problem? Then they bring in a young woman from the school that he had happened to have dated on one occasion to witness the humiliation as he's lying there on a bar. What were you taped to a bar, Brian?
Oh, it was a towel rack. It's probably about, it's horizontal to the ground, about 4 feet up.
And when they finished taping you, were you standing, or were you forced to recline on this thing? What was the?
I was laying down, you know, kind of with my hands above my head, my feet taped to the parallel bars, and then they taped some around my chest, then around my legs, about mid-thigh, and then my feet and my hands. Then they went around my genitals, down through my legs, and up around my neck. And then they went again, came back and around my neck again.
So around your testicles as well as your penis? And then up around the neck and then back down your body once again with more wrapping?
Well, they went down through, then they got another band and came over. So, you know, kind of the...
Yeah. And during this time you're saying, hey guys, this isn't funny? Are you saying anything?
No.
Had you ever participated in this kind of activity yourself?
No.
The superintendent of schools canceled the entire football season. The cheerleaders cried. The parents sued the school. A judge said...
Wait, no.
Whoa, we didn't sue. We didn't
sue.
We haven't even threatened a lawsuit.
There are parents that did, however, on the other side.
No,
Yeah.
they threatened with a lawsuit.
That's what I said. They threatened a lawsuit. Those who opposed the cancellation of the season. So?
Yes, but they didn't follow through with it.
They didn't.
No.
Before the cancellation of the season, the judge had ordered the season to be canceled, and the parents went to get an injunction, and that was probably the lawsuit you're talking about, and the judge upheld the previous judge's motion to suspend the season.
The judge effectively said that if the superintendent wants to cancel this football season, he can.
He can.
Right.
Jane and Sherwin Siemens are obviously Brian's parents. You look like you play football, did you?
I play a little.
Yeah. So your son, following the tradition of his old man, is playing quarterback for the football team. It's true he was backup quarterback, but he is a junior. He's got another year left. But you are now ostracized. People are talking about you. This has been a nightmare for you. But what's the matter? Can't you take a joke? We've done this all the time. Is there anything you haven't heard? This has been, following this incident, has been sort of, what are you crying about, Mom? It's just another hazing incident. Is this so? Isn't this what some people are saying to you?
A lot of people are saying that same thing. They're saying, hey, it's just a little circumstance here. Let's get on with life, forget about it. What they don't realize is they can forget about it. There is emotional and mental scars that are left with the victim.
Let me show you the place where this happened. These young men that we've asked to come here from high schools in the greater New York area, and I'll tell them where you're from here in just a moment, are here at our invitation. We'd like to know your take on this. Here's the locker room at which this incident happened. So what is funny and what isn't? And why shouldn't there be some kind of redress for a young man who is exposed to this kind of humiliation? Here's where he was taped. He was taped to this towel rack. This is Skyview High School, about 30 miles from Brigham Young, from Salt Lake City.
No, it's more like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, sorry. All right, you're in the you're in Salt Lake City, and the superintendent of schools is presumably a county administrator, is he?
That's
Yes.
right.
So it wasn't the high school principal that took this action, it was the superintendent of schools.
It was the superintendent, the high school principal. I guess the superintendent figured he wasn't going to take action fast enough, and so the superintendent stepped in and did what he did.
Here's what some of the students and the parents and the townsfolk think about. Incidentally, in the cancellation of the season, what you effectively did was not have your final game of the regular season, and you missed the regional playoffs. So this team, which had championship potential, never got a chance to compete in the finals for the high school championship for the state of Utah. How do the students and parents and the locals of this community feel about canceling the football season. Watch this.
It's part of the game. If you're going to play, you got to put up with that kind of crap. But maybe, I don't think his parents should be getting involved. I think it should be maybe between Brian and the coach and the team.
It's so unfair to suspend our whole season, and it's making our school look so bad. And people don't understand that. I mean, it happens in sports. It happens at every school.
It leaves us with a shot season, 4 years of football down the drain.
This has been going on ever since we were sophomores. When we first come to this school, we see it being done. I mean, no one ever told us not to do it. And then we do it, and then all of a sudden we're no more football.
If they can't have some fun, quote, quote, fun, together as a team and some things, you know, most people you talk to, the things that happen never go out of the locker room. It's all a bunch of fun.
Here's how some of these moments in this drama have been reported by the Herald Journal, the Logan, Utah newspaper. Parents take hazing decision to court. You're saying that's an erroneous headline.
No, what we're saying is they did go to court, but to try and get the football season instated back in, but they didn't file a lawsuit or anything.
We support the SV football team even if the school board doesn't. We're mad. Why penalize all these innocent people because of something that happened to your son? I can't imagine the pressures that you must have felt over these past. This happened last month.
Yeah, 5 weeks ago.
Yeah. And you actually you've gone back to school.
Yeah. I went to school for a week after that until they had this big rally to, you know, with all the football players and their parents trying to get the team reinstated, the season going again, and they were, I don't know, it was getting pretty crazy, so I thought, oh, I'll not go to school for a couple days, let it die down a bit. So I went back, what was it, 3 or 4 days later, and you know, the whole school, I got you know, the best welcome back from the school, but then you always get the looks and people, you know, they're welcoming me back, but I really wonder what they really think.
What, Phil, has happened is he came out public with it, and actually it's done 180 degrees on him. He is now the victim. He got kicked off the football team for not apologizing for betraying the team.
38 students signed a letter of apology to your son.
Yes.
These are 38 students who either participated in the taping or were watching.
Here's the thing, is that there weren't 38. There's only so many places you can get hands on someone's body. There wasn't 38. Part of the players weren't even there. They were JV players that were down at a game. They
signed it anyway.
Yeah,
they signed it anyway.
I think they were kind of, you know, forced into it.
Look, let's just apologize and let's get this. You don't ever want to cancel a high school football season. You don't know trouble until you do this.
Yeah.
So now come all these kids, I'm sorry, but, you know, it's like, what? They're signing because
Phil, what happened was the day after Brian told us what happened, I had to go into the school for a meeting, and they called me out of this meeting, the principal and the coach, the athletic director, and the resource officer, and sat Brian and I down and explained to us that we had to understand that they had a big game coming up Friday. And can you imagine what it would look like if, instead of the principal and the coach having me as a mother down on their case, what about these other 5 or 10 or 15 boys who couldn't play football at this game, and they were going into region? And I sat there and looked at them and I said, no, wait a minute. What happened to my son was an assault, a sexual assault.
And a humiliation, we should say. I mean, let's get that in, too.
Well, okay, and then he said, and then both the coach and the principal and the resource officer and the athletic director kept saying, this is wrong, this should never have happened. And I said, well, what are you going to do? If you will suspend boys for smoking a cigarette or suspend them for drinking alcohol, is this situation a lesser crime? And they all said no. But what it boiled down to was, in their eyes, it was, this happens all the time. Boys will be boys, even to the maiming of a human life. Or, I mean, it's okay because they were the football team. Mm-hmm. But they kept paying lip service and saying, no, we don't condone this.
Well, what happens is they got to, you know, they got to think about football's a big money-making sport. And so they got to think, oh,
Yeah,
you know,
but
if we don't play football games, look at all this money we're losing.
Well, not only that, though. I'm not going to get my scholarship to college because we didn't finish the team, because you can't take a joke.
Yeah.
Now, let's go over this again. I don't want to... We're not going to show any Polaroids here, but if this audience doesn't understand what happened to you, then we're not going to understand the rage that you and your parents felt. You are totally naked. You are covered with the tape from the trainer, the kind they put in the knees and the ankles, and you know. Yeah. My God, they use 4 miles of tape even in a high school football game for every game, not to mention practice. So you're covered by your teammate.
No, just enough to hold me down.
Okay.
You know, they couple bands around my feet, my hands, my chest, and mid-thigh, so I can't move.
Uh-huh. And then when did you realize there was a woman in the room?
I was just laying there, and I hear her scream, and I looked up and I see her turn and run out. She was my date to homecoming, and.
But Brian betrayed the team.
Yeah, and so
he couldn't play that Friday
and then
game,
the next
but the
week
other
they
kids
kicked
could.
me off the team.
Was that the Friday of the last regular game of the season?
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's so. Who went to the sheriff? Somebody went to.
We did.
And you told them what happened.
We did.
And then they went to the county school superintendent.
No.
We went to the sheriff first. He says this isn't civil. This is criminal. This is assault. Wondering how far we could go with this, and they didn't go as fast as we would have liked, and so we had a meeting with the principal, the athletic director, and the coach to try and get this resolved, to keep the media out of it. And they were for making the players wash the bathroom floors, scrubbing the walls, and extra body conditioning. And we didn't feel that was quite appropriate, and so then we went to the school district to see what their thoughts would be.
And the school district obviously took this seriously.
They did.
And they canceled the whole season.
Well, that's all they can do.
I know, but I mean, still, that's the most they.
Everybody's mad at the school board because they didn't, take care of these individual players.
But you've got now cheerleaders are crying. They're saying, "Oh, come on, it's our last."
Because they think it was unfair to the whole team.
Yes, and innocent people standing. How come you hurt us?
Well, here's what I'm trying to tell you is the school board doesn't have authority to kick out individual players. They can only do the whole season.
What they did was the superintendent gave the principal and the coach the option to suspend these boys, 5 hands-on boys that we named, and the coach and the principal kept saying, well, maybe there was 5 or 10 more. And we said, well, you can choose in your own judgment what these boys, punishment should be, but just suspend these 5 boys. They didn't even offer just to bench the boys, alternating them game after game. They didn't offer to do any of that. And so when the superintendent got involved, he said, more or less to the coach and to the principal, you can make this option, or you can get the boys to voluntarily do this, and then the whole season wouldn't go. But see, the majority of the public and the community don't realize that the principal and the coach had those options, and they wouldn't do it.
So you're saying you might have been satisfied with a benching, a suspension, or some kind of disciplinary action against the 5 who were accused of being the actual perpetrators of the taping.
That's right.
Yes,
and
we told them that.
So you would have, that would have been okay with you when I assume some of those 5 would be probably first stringers. The coaches had no interest in sitting them down, especially for the final, the regional.
2 team captains.
So the coaches say no, essentially. Right. So you're saying the community, that some of the members of the community who are incidentally enraged at you cost them the entire football season, you might as well take away. I mean, the Holy Bible. You just killed a high school football team. You've got seniors out there saying, holy cow, I wanted to win the championship. It's my final game. You have cheerleaders crying. You have parents against you. I can't imagine the pressure that came down on you in a small town in Utah. Because of this.
What's really, really hard about this situation is 2 of these boys we've known since they were small. They're in, like in our neighborhood. They're good friends. 2 of them are on our family videos for homecoming that came with Brian. It's not like, and we realize it wasn't malicious intent. But it's like what a judge said in Detroit when this happened to 2 police officers that had a man in custody and they killed him. He said, I understand there was no malicious intent, but you did it. And that's all I'm saying. We realize these boys aren't bad boys.
And you would have settled for precise penalties exacted against the perpetrators, and when the coaching and the high school and the coaching team didn't do that, you had to go along with the judge who suspended the whole season, or with the approval of suspending the whole season.
This is true, but see, the school board didn't ask us. They just did what they did. We haven't had any communication with the school board, and all the parents are concerned that we have.
Are they talking to you when you walk down the hallway of this high school?
Yeah, there's, you know, I think the majority of the school, you know, is behind me, but, you know, you get the 5 players and their group of friends, and so you get a group, here, the football team, their friends, and their parents, and they make it sound like the whole school, you know, is condoning this, and it's their...
Let me just... many states don't have hazing laws against high schools. They have them against colleges, not against high schools. I don't know what's going on in your locker rooms, and I'm not going to here to suggest that you guys would be capable of this kind of behavior. But I am here to say that this is happening. You'll meet a mother in a moment who lost her son to a hazing. They forced him to drink. He had to drink. He drank and drank and died of alcohol poisoning. We have Paul Worth, a New York Stater. They did a wedgie on him. Do I have to explain a wedgie to any athlete in this? You know what the wedgie is. Yeah. You want to explain it to some of the women who are here present? You take the jockstrap and you pull it up the crack of the guy's butt, right? Real funny. Stand up a minute. Yeah. It's not an investigation. I'm not going to demonstrate.
Okay, as long as you don't demonstrate.
Is this right? This is what a wedgie is.
You take it and jockstrap, underwear, or
two guys, 2 or 3 guys pull him up. So you raise the guy up by his jockstrap.
And all in the crotch and yeah.
Right.
No.
Well, yep, let me tell you. All right. I thank you. Stay with me here. Let me tell you what's not so funny. Paul Worth lost a testicle because somebody thought that was funny. It was removed surgically following the wedgie incident after a lot of redness, swelling, and damage. Incidentally, it was the only testicle he had producing sperm. He will never father a biological child. In a moment, we'll meet Mike DiGiovanni, who's on the satellite from Massachusetts. He happens to be in medical school now, but when he was in high school, he had the hell beat out of him by his fellow teammates in a hockey hazing, and that involved sticks and broken ribs, and there's a whole lot going on out there that isn't funny. Before we make our first break, let's understand the drama here. You've got a broken-hearted school body who were not able to attend their final regular season game or see their team compete in Utah State High School Championship competition. This just really blew them away. And a lot of folks have said a lot of less than kind things about Brian, and all he's doing is stepping forward and saying, hey, look, this happened to me. I don't think it's funny. I think it's humiliating. He and his parents say they think something should be done, and when nothing was done, the county school superintendent canceled the season. Holy cow. We'll be back in just a moment.
Extremely important to this house, Miss Kenton.
Am I?
A world of devoted service.
I'd be lost without her.
A life of unspoken longing.
My friend, he has asked me to marry him.
You have my warmest congratulations.
From the creators of Howard's End, Academy Award winners Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson, The Remains of the Day. Rated PG at select theaters. Starts Friday at additional theaters.
You know what? My skin's not only clean, it feels really smooth. And not just because she's a girl. It's because I use Zest. She's old. She knows lots of stuff. Zestfully clean.
Soap leaves a film on your skin, but Zest rinses clean away, so your skin feels smoother than soap.
Zestfully clean. The sooner you start, the smoother you'll feel. I'm waiting. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean. Feel smooth.
This year, we received a beautiful portrait from our son Roger and his family.
This year, Roger did his shopping at Expressly Portraits.
He must have really planned ahead.
Nope. At Expressly Portraits, it only takes about an hour.
Must have cost him a fortune.
Expressly Portraits holiday special is only $9.95.
He's so thoughtful. I can't wait to tell his sister.
Oops, Roger sent her one, too. For appointments at a mall near you, call 1-800-709-6000.
Who has total warehouse prices on delicious fresh baked breads and great desserts? Shoppers does. Who has total warehouse prices on top quality deli meat, cheese, and fresh salad?
Shoppers does.
And warehouse prices like Edie's Grand Ice Cream, Grand Light, or frozen yogurt, 2 for $5. Minute Maid orange juice, regular country style or with calcium, 88 cents. And Green Giant vegetables, 70 cents. For great savings with total warehouse prices at Shoppers, your savings store.
I'm glad you waited, caller. You wanted to say briefly.
I'm from Salt Lake City, and I cannot believe that in this community a football game is more important than this kid's dignity. I am so ashamed that they are more concerned with whether or not the seniors get to play in their final game. This kid was assaulted in his locker room. He was humiliated by having his date brought in, seeing him tied to a rack. I cannot believe this. I am so ashamed.
Incidentally, we are live in Salt Lake, and we appreciate Salt Lake has more than a passing interest in this. This is a Utah event, and the family thanks you for calling. Are you there? You wanted to say.
I'm also calling from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm also 100% behind what the superintendent did.
This family thanks you. Are you there? You wanted to say.
Hi, I'm also from Utah, and I want Brian to know that there are people out there that support him. I cannot believe that the school has done what they did. I can't believe it. How far are we going to let this go?
You can't believe that the school essentially was apparently prepared, Mom, to do nothing.
Oh, no, they were going to make him run an extra lap or two.
Are you there, caller? You wanted to say.
Yeah, I live here in Weber County in Utah, and Brian, we support you down here, but you're well taken care of, you know.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm glad you called. Any of the young men in this audience want to?
People have to learn to take consequences for their actions, and the consequences have to be known on a large scale so other people will not follow through and do these kind of things.
Dr. Greg Shepard joins us. Dr. Shepard is in our audience. He's here at our invitation. You are from Salt Lake. You're a professional team trainer, sports team trainer, a motivator to high schoolers. You speak in gymnasium. You help these kids get up and go, whether they're men or women. And your feelings about this are what?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out, and the coach's heart goes out to Brian and his family.
But you told us he was not a hazing victim.
I did not say that.
You said it's an isolated, harmless prank.
No, I did not. I don't know where you got your information, but I would like to say to Brian has received some threats, and I would like to say to those people who have offered those threats that Brian is a great kid. He has a good heart.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, you're folding on me.
No,
here.
I'm not folding.
You wanted to say, let's not overdo this. Now, come on.
I did not say that. You have misinformation. I was a little uncomfortable with the word hazing. I don't want to take anything away from what Brian had.
Tell me what makes you uncomfortable about hazing.
I also wanted to say that
you don't like my questions?
No, I don't. Well, Phil,
all I'm asking you to do is take responsibility for what you're saying. Why are you uncomfortable about the word hazing?
Well, it happened. It was not an initiation fee, and it was not one incident that happened during the football season. It happened once in the previous football season. Maybe I don't understand what hazing is, but I don't think semantics should get in the way. I know Coach Snow is a good man. He has a good heart, and he's been his life has been threatened. He's had to move his family out of his home over the weekend, and I think this is it's a wound that's festering. And my mission to come here was to offer a conciliatory meeting where we had the coaches and players where they would ask your forgiveness, and hopefully that the Siemens would be able to accept that so the healing process could begin, because it's a wonderful community and a wonderful school.
Did you have anything you wanted to say?
I do.
Please.
Skyview is a good school. We've always said that Skyview is a good school. Brian wants to go back to Skyview, and we have 4 children coming up. We realize the position that Doug Snow, who is the coach, is in. We at This is what makes it so difficult. Coach Snow was the only coach in Brian's football career that gave him a chance of playing as much time as the starting quarterback. I don't believe we have ever said that Coach Snow is a bad man. We just feel like this situation with hazing, and we didn't term it as hazing. I don't know who started the hazing. It's just that it was the way it was handled was not correctly done. And we have never implied to the principal or the coach were bad men.
Was extra laps and heavy work in the weight room a fair punishment for those responsible for this incident?
Well, I think any coach likes to run his own team. And I think he likes to maybe come up with his own criteria. Now, I did ask Brian in his home, what if the team were to run 100 miles for their pens?
You wanted to do that?
100 miles.
Do you think canceling the season was appropriate?
I don't know. It could be appropriate, but then if you cancel a season, then you give up the opportunity to work with some kids that might need continual work.
So you're not so sure that was a smart thing to do?
Well, I don't. Certainly some great punishment need to be done. It was a horrible, horrible incident. If that happened to my son, I would have been down there. I'm outraged. I would have been.
Right, but apparently if you had gone down there, the most you would have got would be some extra laps around the track.
Well, 100
punishment.
100 miles is 400 laps.
But 100, you would have rather seen the team run 100 miles than cancel that last game.
I don't know about that, but Brian said 100 miles was not enough. And I think that stuck in the craw of some of the kids.
Oh, so you think it is enough?
I don't know what's enough, but they asked, Phil.
What do you want to ask him? Yeah. You understand he is speaking, however circuitously, for a lot of folks in this community who feel that this was an unfair punishment exacted on a lot of innocent young high school football players who will never, for example, the seniors, get their senior year back.
I don't think it's bad to cancel the games.
You don't?
No. I think there should have been some great punishment. However, the kids have apologized, and I think we need to have some forgiveness and some healing taking place.
I'll give you a chance to speak to that, Mom. I'm sorry to have to break here, but I'm long already. You heard what he said, and you get the first shot when we come back in just a moment.
It's a story that could only happen on Sesame Street Live. Sleeping Birdie, starring the yellowest, the incomparable Big Bird. Watch as Big Bird is cast into a big sleep. Will the jealous queen reign as the yellowest of all? Enjoy this super saga of music, merriment, and irrepressible antics. There's nothing like Sesame Street Live.
Coming to the George Mason University Patriot Center, December 1 through 5. Visit Ticketmaster or call 202-432-SEAT.
Hi. You're about to get some valuable information from Mr. Bob Newhart. You'll see how C&P telephone services can help you use your phone in a revolutionary way. Watch this. I'll be back with more.
Ever since my wife Betsy started sewing the flag, the phone rings nonstop. But caller ID shows the caller's number, so I decide whether to pick up or not. George Washington again. He wants his face on the flag. Next thing I want to be president. Benedict Arnold, I don't trust that guy. Ah, my wife.
Caller ID puts you in control. It displays the number of the caller so you can screen your calls and decide whether or not to pick up. What's more, when you order caller ID, there's no service connection charge. Just call now to order.
Hi, Betsy. They're out of orange fabric? Red, white, and blue? That could work.
Call 1-800-537-0200 to order, and the service connection is free.
What's next on Springer?
Leela is a 60-year-old woman with two extraordinary lives. She has a husband in the city and a husband in the country. She has children with both, and now her families are here to tell us their story.
I've got my mountain man and my mountain life and my city man and my city life. I thought it was really weird. Daddy Ray and Daddy Jim. I can't tell them apart in the dark.
Leela's two lives, next Jerry Springer.
Nine years ago, Paul Worth was a high school student on Long Island. Catholic school named?
St. Anthony's.
St. Anthony's. You were wedgied.
Right.
That is to say, other team members picked you up by your jockstrap.
No, it was on a bus.
It was no kind of initiation at all. It was just, I was a freshman on a bus.
In the back of the bus?
No, I was sitting in the front. The upperclassmen decided that they would call me to the back of the bus. So they continually called me and I refused to go. They sent a kid up to come get me who...
Excuse me, Paul, for interrupting, but you were probably a smaller member of that team, weren't you?
It wasn't a team. I wasn't even on a sport team.
Oh, so it's just where you were going to what?
I was just a fresh going home from school.
Oh, I see. This is not a sporting event. My apologies
Not
to
at
you.
all.
But you were smaller, one of the small, when you were a freshman. So you were easy?
Easy.
So, okay, so you go to the back of the bus. Go ahead.
You know, they humiliated me a little bit, did a little song and dance, and then when they sent me back to my seat, everybody jumped on top of me. And that's when all this happened.
All what now? You have to tell us what happened, Paul.
Okay, it was so confusing. I was jumped on, I was trying to get back to the front of the bus, and that's where these two kids had my underwear and were pulling me to the back of the bus by my underwear.
I see. So it wasn't a jock that was used, it was a jockey short, so to speak.
It was just what I was
Right.
wearing.
And in the process of pulling you with your jockey, the top of your jockey shorts,
right,
the crotch area then comes up to your testicles and it hurts.
It's a little tight. Yeah, it hurts.
So the next day, immediately you felt the discomfort. I mean, obviously it hurt when it happened, but the pain didn't go away. Is that so? Or?
No, the pain never went away.
And did you have a swelling in one of the testicles?
Yes, I did.
So you go to see the doctor, urologist, whoever it is, and he says what?
At first, he didn't quite understand what a wedgie was, so he thought it was an infection. So he put me on antibiotics. I went back the next day and I had emergency surgery because no swelling hadn't gone down.
Emergency surgery which removed your testicle?
Yes.
And do I understand that that was the only working testicle you?
Yes.
So you are then, you've had 9 years to deal with this. You will never father a child?
Correct.
Did you sue?
Civilly. There's nothing you can do criminally. In fact, the boys only got 2 days suspension from the school.
And you're certain that this was premeditated, aren't you?
Oh, sure. They picked me out of the crowd. How it works is it's the sophomores who do it to the freshmen. So after you have it done, the next year you do it to somebody else. And that was the cycle.
Right. You say it was 3.5 years of living hell. We certainly understand that having this kind of major damage to your body is a living hell. What else was a living hell?
I mean, you just walk through the hallways. When you miss a couple months of school and the whole school knows why, kids can be cruel. I mean, everybody knew what happened, and then just walking down the hallway, the comments that come at you.
You're the kid with one ball?
There's many comments similar to that fly.
Sure. No, there's not a, look at the gigglers here trying to pretend like this not funny. And it's what makes you laugh if you're in high school. And if you're the victim, you're the only one in the school who's not laughing.
That's right.
Mike DiGiovanni, you're on our satellite from Massachusetts. You are now a thriving medical school student up there, but that wasn't the case when you were a sophomore. Was this high school, Mike?
Yes, it was.
You were a hockey player.
Yes.
And you had a night or a day you'll never remember. What's the story, Mike?
Well, it was a captain's practice, and it was one of the last captain's practices that we had. This is before the season starts. And it was after one of the practices, and we all gathered into a locker room, and they locked the door, and they proceeded to beat up 2 of us, which it started with my friend, and then they came to us in a group, 4 of them. And then from there, they beat us a little bit, and then they punched my abdominal wall and a little bit of the chest, and then behind my back, and I stood up to gasp some air, and that's when I figured that I got hurt a little bit, and just to suck it in while this is all going on, there's laughing and there's comments made to me. And after this was over, I thought it was over, so I was relieved, and they proceeded to strip me and take my skates off and hang me from one of the hooks in the locker rooms, and to pull me down. And thank God that my jock strap broke on its own, and I fell to the floor and got up, and it was pretty much over after that.
So you were wedgied then with a hook on the wall. Is that right? Or an attempt was made. You suffered 2 broken ribs, a bruised kidney, and internal bleeding. So? Is that right?
So,
yeah.
Yep.
You also you suffered afterward. How, Mike? You know, I should say this this is a not uncommon testimony we get from women who are rape victims. The humiliation continues. Briefly, what's about the aftermath of this, Mike?
Well, pretty much you have to deal with getting on with your life, and the hardest thing is that a lot of people knew what happened, and you have to deal with the humiliation that happened. You have to deal with the embarrassment that happened.
Did you get hate mail?
Excuse me?
Did you get hate mail?
Yes, I did. I got a few letters saying that I liked it and that I did things to these students before sexually in the showers, which was definitely not true. But there's another thing that I'd have to deal with. I don't know who wrote it, and I don't know how many people were in on writing this letter. So I had to deal with that, which was an additional.
Yeah. Did you graduate from that school, Mike?
Yes, I did.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Why do we have to move?
Because your father lost his job.
Was he fired?
No, they closed the plant.
Why?
A lot of people are buying clothes made in other countries, not ours.
Nearly 500,000 Americans who make apparel and home fashions have lost their jobs, even though what they make is second to none. Buy American, and Americans work.
Why are they buying that other stuff?
I don't know, honey. I don't know.
Efferdent users, what would get you to switch to new Denture Cream?
If it got my dentures cleaner.
Denture Cream cleans twice as clean as Efferdent.
If it got them fresher.
Now Denture Cream is even mintier.
Cleaner.
Fresher.
Better. Switch to new Denture Cream.
Songbirds 50s and 60s, the bopping game full of the groovin' hits.
Lollipop, lollipop, ooh.
Just complete the lyrics, and you're on your way to platinum. Songburst 50s and 60s.
If you've ever thought about changing the way you look, you should read this booklet. It's called Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Plastic Surgery, and they mean everything. It's got information on all the procedures, how to choose the right surgeon, pictures, prices, financing, and it's free. Just call this number. Call right now, and someday you may be very glad you did. Call Bilage at 703-998-4111.
Christmas is just around the corner, so come enjoy the Christmas Extravaganza Arts and Crafts Show at Prince George's Equestrian Center in Upper Marlboro this Saturday and Sunday, November 20th and 21st. You'll experience the enchantment of a Christmas show filled with talented vendors with something for the entire family to enjoy. Shopping for mom and dad, free parking, food, music, and door prizes, and a special treat at 1:30 p.m. on both days, live musical entertainment. Admission is only $3 and kids under 10 get in free. The Christmas Extravaganza Arts and Crafts Show this weekend in Upper Marlboro.
He's the kind of guy most women dream about.
I'm tall, dark, and handsome. I think women like to be treated like dirt.
Maybe not. On the next Maury Povich Show, meet some cocky guys who think they know what's wrong with women today.
Girls like abuse.
But on the next Maury, it's the guys who are catching most of the abuse.
You should really get over yourself. You're not that good looking.
On the next Maury.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please. Be sure to include your phone number with the area code.
Jane Siemens is Brian's mom. I promised her an opportunity to respond to Dr. Greg Shepard's call for reconciliation. Smithfield, Utah is the name of the town.
Yes.
Okay, good. I want to be able to visit Smithfield someday. Incidentally, nobody from the school, the court, the school district, or the entire state of Utah, or the Mormon church would come to our show. I assume you are Mormons? Are you LDS people? Yeah. Are you? Yes. How do you feel about the... Incidentally, Dr. Gregory in our interview with him prior to our program points out that part of the Mormon faith doctrine is to accept the apology and to offer your own forgiveness to others, to which you would say.
Okay, what I would like to, to respond to his comment, the reason we came on this show was kind to help heal the situation at Skyview between us and the general public and how they think the whole school is kind of a little bit off. Skyview isn't a little bit off. It just isn't, and we've never portrayed Skyview being that way. We have had Brian talk to a doctor, in therapy. We've had a lot of men that have phone called around the nation, a lot of men that have sent letters. We had, for example, a man out of California who's an attorney. 30 years ago, this situation happened to him. And he said, if I had been in your situation, he said, or if I could have been in your situation that had parents that would back me up, I would go through, and part of my therapy would be that I would get the word out that good kids do these kinds of things and they get out of hand. Skyview is, these kids are good kids, okay? And we want to make that clear. The principal is a good guy. The coach is a good guy. It just got out of hand. And we want to make sure that they understand we are not mudslinging.
And so,
we're coming here to help other parents stand up for their sons as well. Half our population is men.
Right.
Half of our population is subject to this kind of a situation. Our society takes care of women and children who are always the victim of rapes and all these kinds of crimes.
Right.
So this program is to help more or less therapy for Brian, and it's like a two-edged sword. We don't want to cut our throats and hurt Skyview any more than we, that's already been hurt. At the same time, we want to help Brian get through this therapy program.
Here is the superintendent of schools who offered this comment to the local media out in Utah, and we're pleased to share his comments now. The superintendent of schools who canceled the football season.
The athletes and the coaches and the student body in general of Skyview High School must understand that what happened to the victim at Skyview High School is reprehensible and absolutely unacceptable behavior. The action I am taking is meant to send a message in the strongest possible way. This type of behavior cannot happen again in a Cache County school.
Sir, you wanted to say. Thanks to, incidentally, long live and may you have an undefeated season. Montclair High School, Tenafly High School, and Riverhead High School of Long Island. We thank you for being here. Fine student. Let me just get a call. Hang on, don't leave me out. What did you want to say, caller? You wanted to say what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would like to say to Brian that he's not the one that should be ashamed. The people that did that to him should be ashamed. I had a similar thing happened to me in high school. A couple girls decided they didn't like my hair and tried to give me a haircut, and I was stabbed with the scissors.
And you not only were hurt, but you were humiliated.
Oh, yes, and
Yeah.
I got expelled from school also, along with the girls that did
Okay,
this to me.
I'm sorry to say the music means we have to leave. When we come back, I'm not fooling around with this crowd. We'll be with number 84 right now on this program in just a moment.
I've been turned down 3 times because I don't have computer experience. 3 times.
Call Computer Learning Center, 703-971-0500.
You show me someone who knows computers, and I'll show you someone who's working.
Call Computer Learning Center.
I gotta be honest with you. I never thought I'd be making this much money.
For a brochure, call Computer Learning Center, 703-971-0500. One phone call can change your life.
The end is here. Morton's is going out of business forever.
And it's down to the wire.
So the markdown bandit strikes again.
And slashes prices even deeper.
On millions of dollars in fall and winter fashion.
Now save 40, 50.
Even 60% off store-wide.
Everything that was $24.99
is now $14.99.
Everything that was $19.99
is now $9.99.
Everything that was $9.99
is now $4.99.
But go now.
It's the final days of Morton's.
The end is here.
Every day, homes are sold at auction because of mortgage foreclosure, and almost everyone could have been saved by American Mortgage Assistance. American Mortgage Assistance finds solutions to your mortgage problems. Call now, 931-9393. If you're 90 days or more behind on your payments, American Mortgage Assistance can help. Don't lose your home. Call now, 931-9393. American Mortgage Assistance.
The genius behind very fine apple quenchers.
Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, got something right here. Yeah, this'll do.
This fruit drink's good, but it needs something like apple juice. Yeah. I'll just climb down. Oh, nice catch. Oh, ow, stairs back there. Leave me alone. I'm making an apple quencher.
New apple quenchers from Very Fine. Great tasting fruit, thirst quenching apples. Nothing quenches like apple quencher.
Whoa.
For a transcript of Donahue, send $3 to Journal Graphics, 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000. To order a video cassette for only $24.95, just call 1-800-FOR-VIDEO.
84 coming at you. Never forget, I have a mind like an elephant. And I promised, and I'll be there. Eileen Stevens, this is grim. Your son Chuck was killed in a college hazing. It was forced alcohol consumption, was it not?
Yes, forced alcohol.
Was it a fraternity situation?
It was a fraternity, yes.
He's a freshman then at the time?
He was a 20-year-old sophomore.
He died of alcohol poisoning, didn't he?
And exposure after being locked in a car trunk, after being kidnapped from his room, put in a trunk with 2 other pledges and given a pint of Jack Daniels, a 6-pack of beer, and a mixture of wine. It was freezing cold. They wore no coats.
So if he hadn't aspirated the weather to kill him. I mean,
yes.
He had... you have spoken, incidentally, this was Alfred College?
Alfred University.
Alfred University, Alfred, New York. And this is several years ago. And in the intervening time, you have seen this movie. I mean, you've heard this so many times, have you not?
Countless times.
And you've spoken at how many places?
Over 500 colleges and universities, maybe 80 high schools, and many conferences.
And you stand up before not a young men like this, and women as well, and you say what? And I'm sorry I don't have a 3-hour show.
I share what happened to Chuck, and I highlight that no one should be put through something cruel, dehumanizing, or potentially dangerous. I applaud Paul and Brian and parents of those young people who have the courage to speak out and say no, because they will help others learn from those tragedies. They will bring about an awareness. And they are the ones that will help it to stop, because hazing has no place in any organization.
Is the biggest problem, though? Oh, come on, Mom. I mean, boys, that's the way, you know, come on, let's relax. Isn't that the biggest problem that you have, fighting this thing?
Well, there's a great deal of secrecy shrouding the practice. The peer pressure is intense, and they are unprepared for what is going to happen to them. They are kidnapped, taken by surprise, and they are not prepared for what's in store for them. The secrecy is what perpetuates the problem, and hazing has been condoned, allowed, permitted, and accepted for too many years.
Eileen Stevens, we'd be glad to get you in touch with anybody who'd be interested in having you share your own very informed lecture on this. We'll be happy to send them to you if they want to call our office. 84, what happened? There you go. Sorry.
Well, I wanted to ask Brian a question. I'm not condoning what they did to you, but I'm just saying, was any of the 5 players your parents wanted to suspend any of the starting quarterback?
No, he was my best friend. Starting quarterback's my best friend.
I was just checking, because most people usually have alternative motives to these things.
But that's not in the case here.
No, I didn't. I wasn't competing with any of these guys for a position, so.
Who wants it down here? We got time for a one-liner. There you go. You got it.
I want to ask any one of you people, were you submissive to these forces that they had, or did you put up any restraint to what they were doing to you people?
I knew what happened and what it had happened before, and I was fighting them for a while. I was throwing kids in the lockers, but you know, there were so many of them. I thought,
let's get this over with.
Let's get it over with. Let's not make them matter by doing any damage to them.
But when they present the girl in the room, that takes it to another level, huh?
Yeah, and then my hands went red because I was, you know, I was just going crazy at that point.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Introducing Corning Lifestyles, the first collection of coordinating tableware and cookware that gives you everything from cups to casseroles in styles that fit your lifestyle. Corning Lifestyles, designed for living.
Some people get nasal congestion, but if you get sinus congestion, use a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex has a decongestant plus Vicks Vapors, so you can feel your swollen passages open up. For sinus, think...
What a great song. What a great station. It's the new Easy 99.5. Playing a soft, relaxing blend of all your favorite singers and songs. The new Easy 99.5. All the songs you love, all the time, all on one station. The great new sound of the new Easy 99.5. Come on, give it a try.
A year after the birth of my second child, this lady patted me on the stomach and said, "Oh, when is the blessed event?" That was what sent me to Jenny Craig. I found the Jenny Craig cuisine so convenient. It taught me what a healthy portion is. When you're halfway to goal on Jenny Craig, you gradually start cooking your own food, and it's such an easy transition. Now it's like, oh, it's so simple, but now it finally makes sense.
Join now and lose 10 pounds free. And for every new program, we'll donate $10 to Race for the Cure. Call Jenny Craig.
Cross-dressing nannies and nuns with strange habits. Costner and Eastwood and Julia Roberts. Two awesome dudes who will make you go swing. These are a few of my favorite things. When he kidnaps, when she doo-wops, when they're feeling sad. I'll give you a peek at the holiday films and then you'll know good from bad.
Join me for my big holiday movie preview tonight at 6 and 11.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please. Be sure to include your phone number with the area code.
Chuck is the acronym of the organization presided over by Eileen Stevens. It's in the memory of her son. Chuck, what the acronym means?
Committee to Halt Useless College Killings.
And you have spoken, as you've said, to over 500. Hazing goes up and down and in and out, and then suddenly we have all kinds of press conferences, everybody's horrified, and then it diminishes, and then it comes back, doesn't it?
It's against the law in 38 states.
The punishment that was given to the group when clearly it seems that there was 5 or several boys more responsible than the others. Is there any individual punishment going to be given to those 5? And if there isn't, why isn't there?
Not that I know of. There hasn't been. And I don't, unless, you know, I think the coach is the only one that would know if he's going to do anything more. I think he feels that they've been punished enough.
2 minutes left, Brent. Sir.
I just wanted to ask Brian, do you think it was more personal than anything besides football? Think it was more personal?
Personal?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know, 2 of them I double dated homecoming with, and a couple others I went camping with, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't call that.
Had you ever done this to anybody else, Brent?
No.
Yeah. You are a superintendent, are you?
Yeah, I'm superintendent of the Riverhead School District. No, I'll make it very short. I think that the matter should have been handled by the coach and the principal based on the code of ethics that the players sign off on.
And he should have benched his 2 captains?
He should have benched whomever was involved in the incident.
And we shouldn't have canceled the whole season. Right. Are you there, caller? You wanted to say?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. What did you want to say, briefly?
Yeah, I'm in a fraternity, and I have been hazed, and you have a select few that have been hazed, and it was overboard, but this is a tradition that will never stop. It'll go on in colleges for...
All right. We thank you for the prediction. This is Tim Worth's. This is Paul Worth's mother. Mrs. Worth wanted to say, this is the young man who has significant body damage as a result of a wedging incident when he was a freshman in high school. Mom.
Hazing is against the rules of the school that he went to.
Right.
However, giving a wedgie was considered part of the tradition.
Just not unlike what this young man said.
Yes.
And now he lost a testicle. Not funny when you're on that operating table, and you're here to say, take this seriously.
Yes, you have to be responsible for what you do.
Yes, you wanted to say, my friend. You'll stand.
I think it's Coach Snow's fault because he should take responsibility for the players' actions. And that's not, and I'm serious about that. If anything's going to happen, it should be his fault.
Even if he's a nice guy, Coach, he has to...
No matter how nice a guy is, it doesn't matter. It's his fault. It's his responsibility.
Tell the people we'll be back in just a moment.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Everybody needs calcium. Everybody needs protein. Everybody needs vitamins and minerals. That's why there's a milk for everybody. milk, whole, low fat or non-fat. It does a body good. Everybody.
This year, we received a beautiful portrait from our son Roger and his family.
This year, Roger did his shopping at Expressly Portraits.
He must have really planned ahead.
Nope. At Expressly Portraits, it only takes about an hour.
Must have cost him a fortune.
Expressly Portraits holiday special is only $9.95.
He's so thoughtful. I can't wait to tell his sister.
Oops, Roger sent her one, too. For appointments at a mall near you, call 1-800-709-6000.
This season, give the gift your whole family will enjoy.
Wow.
The story of a remarkable friendship.
I love you, Willie.
Free Willy, one of the most heartwarming films of the year.
Let's free Willie.
Now on video at a price you can afford.
Go, Willie!
And save up to $11 with rebates and coupons from Bumblebee Tuna, Payless Shoe Stores, and Kid Cuisine. Bring something special home for the holidays. Free Willy, for sale wherever videos are sold.
All chickens may feel fresh at the store, but they don't all start out feeling that way. I never freeze my chickens, but most of my competitors blast theirs with air that's 40 degrees below zero. So they can start out like this, and the government still lets them call themselves fresh. Well, they can call themselves anything they want, but I'd hate to try this with one of my fresh chickens.
Do your kids think you play favorites? This mom never thought she did, but her daughter says.
I'm hurting because she didn't give me the same attention that you gave Sophia.
These grown sisters say their mom still favors the oldest.
She was there for me.
Do we parents actually favor one child over another?
And if we do, can we ever make up for it?
If I could go back in time, I would pay attention to you.
Next, Sally.
Shave their heads. They drastically lose weight. Why are they faking the symptoms of a deadly disease? Next, Donahue.
Preachment time. This will take a moment. Eileen Stevens reminds us, and her own son is tragic testimony. People die in these incidents. People really do die. I admire you for coming forward here. I think that something you suspect already, and that is you have a lot of support in your own community and the state of Utah and around the country. Incidentally, thank you all for making your contribution to this effort to understand hazing and the fact that it isn't funny. Go Mounties, Tigers, Blue Waves. I hope you win them all.
Provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
You want regular Swiss cheese with all that fat, cholesterol, sodium, and calories? No, no. I'm giving you Alpine Lace Swiss Low because I care how you and you eat.
Did you worry about perming your hair? Not with Lilt for Total Condition. With conditioners built in every step of the way. It's the worry-free perm.
Guest accommodations provided by the Drake Swiss Hotel on Park Avenue, New York's premier address for business or leisure, with guest rooms, suites, and conference rooms for up to 200 people. Call 1-800-DRAKE-NEW-YORK and ask about our special packages priced from $150.